My name's Kate Baker, and I am so excited to share with you how to flip your classroom with BookWidgets. For those of you who are new to BookWidgets is a content creation and evaluation tool that teachers need to support their students' learning process from beginning to end. We have a widget library with a variety of interactive activities, these templates that teachers can use to create the activities for their students. We are integrated with many trusted learning management systems, and you can monitor student progress throughout the learning cycle so that you can immediately act and provide feedback on students' shortcomings and strengths and help them move forward wherever they are at any time. And all of this is given some great insightful data is on our reporting dashboard, where you can review student work in the most efficient way possible. So you can spend less time grading and more time on personalized student feedback. So today's session, we're going to take a look at the fundamentals of flipping the classroom and how BookWidgets can facilitate this process. Our agenda for this session, we're going to begin with taking a quick look at what is flipped learning. I'm going to share with you a number of examples in BookWidgets that should hopefully inspire you as to what are the capabilities. We'll take a look at how else you can use video in your lessons, provide you with some tips and tricks, and wrap it all up with a review of the steps for creating flipped lessons. So let's begin with what is flipped learning. Many folks may have heard of flipped learning before. And here in flipped learning, some have said that it is watching videos at home and then coming to class where you would do the activities and apply what you know. I flipped my classroom for 10 plus years, and I can tell you that I used an in-class flip model, that all video watching and interaction took place in my classroom time. So flipped learning in a nutshell is this. The first step is to have your students watch and interact with teacher created or curated videos and tools. You want them engaging with the learning. As they acquire that information, the second step is to check their understanding with formative assessments. And then the third step is to apply this to their learnings to hands-on collaborative activities, which will then lead them into a summative evaluation, a summative assignment, or you can continue the learning cycle in this process of watch and interact, check, and apply. Now, the Flipped Learning Network, I'm on the board of the Flipped Learning Network, and this is a grassroots organization comprised of educators from around the world who flip their classes. We provide some best practices and share some tips and tricks. So I encourage you to check out flippedlearning.org. And the Flipped Learning Network has defined flipped learning as the following. It is a pedagogical approach in which direct instruction moves from the group learning space to the individual learning space. And that resulting group space is transformed into a dynamic, interactive learning environment where the educator guides students as they apply concepts and engage creatively in the subject matter. So this is not, flipped learning is not about having your students' faces in their screens all the time, nor is it about replacing the teacher with video. This is about enhancing the learning opportunities. Also, according to the Flipped Learning Network, flipped learning is based on these 4 pillars. Flexible environment. You want to have a flexible learning environment in your classroom space that can tap into a number of modalities, whether you're using video or other content, but that you want it to be interactive and flexible to meet student needs. The learning culture is also a pillar of flipped learning, that students are centered in the learning process with intentional content that they're interacting with. Again, this isn't just grabbing any old video and having students watch it. It's about being intentional in what you're designing for them to learn. And then the 4th pillar of flipped learning is being a professional educator, that you are constantly evaluating and course correcting as needed. And did you notice the 4 pillars here? What word do they spell? Flip. So it gives you a nice, easy way to remember. So flipped learning with BookWidgets. You can absolutely flip your classes with BookWidgets using a variety of widgets. And you don't have to use 10 different tools. Everything can be in one place with BookWidgets. So the best widgets for flipped learning, our top ones that we recommend choosing, is the video quiz. In addition to our video quiz, we also recommend the quiz widget, the worksheet, the split worksheet, the split whiteboard, the WebQuest planner, and hotspot widgets. These are all great for flipped learning, and I'll be showing you a variety of examples shortly. But just a few things to point out with this is that with these widgets, I want you to keep an eye out for these symbols, the camera and the checkbox. The camera icon will indicate that it supports live monitoring. So if you're delivering this widget through a learning management system, you'd be able to monitor your students in real time and watch them completing the activities. And then the checkbox is about that this widget supports submissions for grading and feedback. Not everything needs to be graded, but when it does, you want to utilize the auto-scored questions as well as some other features to provide your students with great feedback on their progress. So let's take a look at some examples. The video quiz is the most important one, I think, for flipped learning here. So I'm going to show you a variety of examples. The first one is actually for you and for any teacher who would want to learn more about flipped learning. So I created this particular video quiz with a video provided from Matt Moore of the Flipped Learning Network. And he takes us into looking at these 4 pillars in more detail. So I'm going to continue to video. And you can see that the video will play. I'm going to just pause it for the sake of us. And then you'll see that down here at the bottom of the screen are some checkpoint questions that as the video progresses, it will get to these checkpoints and pause and then provide students with a link to, or with questions to answer where they can demonstrate their understanding. So this is a question point, and here you have a picture matching, but you can put in any of the 35 question types into a flipped video quiz. So here we have a multiple select question, and after they've answered it, they can continue to video to continue watching. So this particular example, I encourage you to share with your colleagues as well as complete it with yourself for anyone who might be interested in learning more about flipped learning. Now, one of my favorite flipped lessons to create is at the very beginning of the school year. And this is where I flip my classroom expectations. So all of that, you might have your document that is listed out with all of the, rules and procedures for your classroom space. We'll turn that into a video and have the students watch it. Now, this video I actually do assign as homework because I want my students to watch this with their parents and guardians so that this way everyone can understand what the expectations are for my class. So I'll show the class calendar. I'll have my document of rules and expectations. And then again, you'll see down here when we get to a certain point, it will pop out to a question for the students to answer, and then they can continue to the video. So this is a great strategy for getting everyone off on the right foot at the beginning of the school year so that everyone knows what's expected of them, is by utilizing the video quiz with your class expectations. And you can see here, I have a variety of question types even including the voice response, so I can get to know my students as they are practicing their listening, their viewing skills, and their speaking skills to demonstrate that they have understood what the procedures are for our class period. Okay. All right, let's take a look at another example. So videos are great too for instruction and acquiring new information, whether it's at the beginning of the school year or the middle of a lesson. You can always have them learning more throughout the time. So here we have a math video, and I'm just going to pause it for a second here. And you can see again, here's the video nice and big. We have our questions down at the bottom, and I'm going to just kind of quickly go through so that you can see what some of these questions are that we've asked. You might also notice too, up in the top bar here, we have an embedded calculator that students can access if needed. So this is a great way to make math multimedia. We have a table question. We even have a whiteboard question where students are demonstrating and solving the equation in the moment on the whiteboard, so they can apply what they've watched in the video. Let's move along. I got so many examples to show you and only a little bit of time. I'm going to jump down here to example 6, because this one is about project-based learning. So we're doing a combination of flipped learning and project-based learning. So think about this, you science teachers, for doing virtual labs or even doing just a multimedia lab in your classrooms. Here, you're going to construct and create a cotton ball launcher. Follow along with the video. So I'm just going to hit pause on the video and then navigate through some of these questions that you see here. And if you notice, this is a really short video. It's only 2 minutes and 15 seconds. But we have quite a way that you can help guide the students through this project. So they gather the materials, they can continue on to the video, watch the next section. The video stops, takes them to this question where they can take a picture to document their process so far. Take another picture to document their process. Continue with the video. And again, you can see how this is a great way for students and the teacher to be apprised of where they are in the project. Okay, so this is a great technique for project-based learning. All right, let's take a look at where you can use videos in a quiz. So in a quiz widget, here I'm using the quiz widget because I want it to be one question at a time. But this particular activity isn't necessarily a quiz. I'm doing a little bit of blended flipped learning here. So I created this particular widget for the prologue for Romeo and Juliet. I want my students to annotate their paper copy using that ancient art of handwriting. So here is my video that I've made with a document camera. I guide students and model the process for them. They mark up their paper. And what's great is they can pause and rewind and rewatch me as needed. Something they can't do with teachers in real life. But a video makes it easy. So they've marked up their paper. Then the next question on this quiz is where they will turn in a picture. So how do I know my students watched my video? That is one of the biggest questions that is asked in flipped learning. How do I know? Well, I have documented proof with this photo question. But also I know by asking them some additional follow-up questions that they've watched. So these auto-scored questions will help me to know that they've watched the video, and as well as will help me to guide my instruction for what I need to do for follow-up. If I see that everyone got question number 4 wrong, well, then I know I need to go take a look at that particular question and maybe design some follow-up activities. But if I see that only a couple of students got a particular question wrong, well, then I can follow up with them as well. So here we have a rich text question, a multiple line question where students will type in their response. So this is another great place where you can use video, where you give them the question they watch it, and then they have to answer. When you're doing these types of videos, these types of questions, I recommend that you keep your videos short. Let me take a look at another example for a quiz. Hey, math folks, yes, you can use video with math. So this is a math quiz, and I'm going to jump to question number 11, because this one is where the video is embedded. So we have this YouTube video where the students will watch, and then as I scroll down, they will complete the picture with the name of the numbers, typing in their responses accordingly. All right, I really wish we could get to all of the examples that we have for you today, but I just want to show you a few, and that any of them that you would like to explore more, again, you'll get the slides to follow up on if there's any of them that we weren't able to get to. In this particular example, the video is actually embedded in the feedback, the rationale. So once students, if you have an auto-graded particular widget, and you can see here that the student did not select the correct answer, and in the rationale, we get some additional information with some video included. So that's another way that you can incorporate video into your lessons. All right, let's move along with some additional examples. The worksheet is very similar to the quiz, but in the worksheet, this is where you will get all your questions. As you can scroll down through this particular widget, you'll see that we're doing a long scroll instead of one question at a time. But here you can see where we've included a video in the worksheet where they will watch this video and then apply what they've learned by answering the questions below. This particular worksheet also does the same thing, have a video up at top, but you can see the design is very different. We've added some interesting background image. We've changed the font color. And again, that long scroll to access all of the questions. Let's pop over to a split worksheet. This particular split worksheet, we have our resources on one side here. So step one, they will view this video. So here's another recorded screencast that I created. So yes, you can find videos to use, but you can also create your own. I just repurposed one of my slide decks from when I would give a lecture in class, and I turned it into a video. And then step two, after they've watched, they will read this information and then apply it to answer the questions over here. And great thing about split worksheets is that you can go like this to make it bigger for your resources, or like this to make your questions bigger accordingly. Here we have another split worksheet where we have the video embedded on the side. So we've incorporated an animated short film. And then students read and then answer the questions on the other side. Let's take a look at a split whiteboard. Here, students will view a video of the water cycle, and then on this side of the whiteboard, use the tools to draw a diagram that was represented in that particular video. So how do I know that they watched? Well, I'll see them with how they've recreated the diagram. Let's take a look at example number 2. For art classes, this is great. View this video to learn some techniques for using shapes to draw characters, so the students can watch and pause as needed, and then use the tools over on the side to draw digitally their characters. And we'll take a look at one more. This time, on the split whiteboard, we have the video is embedded in the instructions. So the instructions are a pop-out dialog box, learn about circuits, watch the video, read the article, draw the circuit on the whiteboard. So they can watch this, click OK, it'll disappear. Here's the article that they read on this side, and then here is the diagram where they will annotate and draw. And if they ever need to return to that video again, they can just simply click on the eye up in the top corner and it will open it back up for them. So a great place for also where you can insert video is in the instructions to your widgets. All right, I'm going to show you a few hotspot examples. And again, we're not going to be able to get to everything today. For those of you that want to learn more about flip learning, this is Flip Mastery. So this particular hotspot is based on a diagram from Dr. Kara Johnson, author of Flip Learning 3.0, Flipped Mastery Learning, an insanely simple guide. So what you will do is on each part of the diagram, open it up, read the information, and then you can scroll down to watch a corresponding video. So if you want to learn more about flipped learning and flipped mastery, this is a great one to go explore. Another example, here we have the Globe Theater. So we have a diagram for students. They can click on this link to go to a virtual tour. So we can include resources for them. And then as they click on the different parts of the diagram, they'll get a text pop-out box from this hotspot. And within the text hotspot, you can have a video embedded. So a great way also to incorporate multimedia hotspots, and then even embed other widgets like a quick quiz for them to assess their learning and their understanding. I'm going to pop over here to the planner widget. So in this particular one, we have, again, the instructions are include a video. So the students will watch this, they can click it out, and then they can go through the planner to complete their activity. In this particular one, we have another one, open like a window. Here we have videos embedded in each step of the planner. So as an introduction to Shakespeare, the students will first watch this video about Shakespeare's life and time. They click on it, takes them to YouTube. Check your understanding with this quick quiz. They can click on it, it'll take them to a widget. Click on another link, it'll take them to another video. And then they can explore the globe, watch another video, and even do another learning activity. So the planner widget is a great way where you can organize your lessons and have them be taking part in it. All right, I'm going to show you one more planner. Here we have this particular one also has videos embedded in it, but this one, haha, wait for it. When they click on each tile here in the planner, it will take them to a video quiz. So now they can watch the video and then complete it. So talk about really amping up your game here for flipped learning. You can have students have your lessons really organized. Your whole unit could be organized. And then each step, for example, in this planner would take you to another video quiz to assess their learning. So a great way to organize and structure a unit of instruction. All right, another way that you could package your flipped learning lessons together is using the WebQuest widget. So here we have this particular one is kind of like a escape room where students will learn about ancient Rome and a gladiator's life. And the videos are embedded in it for them to watch and apply what they've learned. Okay, so for World Migratory Day, we have the same thing. within the web quest. You can navigate through, access resources, be able to complete different activities, watch videos, and apply what they've learned. Now there's even more examples for flipped learning here. I'm just going to show you a few of them from this particular set. And again, we don't have time to be able to do them all, but would love for you to take a look at them on your own time. So how about flashcards? Again, you can embed the video in the instructions. Students will watch it, and then they can practice what they've watched with the flashcards. And then if they ever need to rewatch it again, so for this one for chemical elements, they can open it up and they can rewatch it. Another great flipped learning lesson. Let's take a look at an exit slip. So again, here we have the instructions include a video, and then students can complete the exit slip and answering the corresponding questions. How about crossword puzzles? Video in the instructions. Students can acquire that information and then they can apply it to answering the crossword puzzle. I think you are picking up on a pattern here. Let me show you the tip tiles. This is a great one for showing a process. So on each tip tile, we're going to play a video that shows the steps for, in this case, how to change a tire. And we have it all organized and packaged for students to use. And then you could use some blended learning, have them watch these videos and then completing some tasks on paper or in person. So this could be for your classes that are really hands-on. You can have students watch this and then show you on an actual tire how they've changed it. Again, I wish I could show you all of these examples, but we just do not have enough time. So you are going to have to explore on your own. And let's take a look at that video quiz, how we can create a video quiz. I'm going to walk you through the steps. So when you log into your account at BookWidgets, you're going to want to create a new widget, and you're going to select the video quiz. Now you're going to want to give it a name, and I recommend before you obviously are creating this, you want to know what you want to create. What is the content you want to make a video out of? So in this case, I have a video ready to go, and it's going to be the prologue to Romeo and Juliet. You saw this video on one of the other widgets. I'm just going to copy the link from YouTube and paste it in. And now you can see that my video has rendered right here. And then what I'm going to need to do is to start adding in questions. Now I could watch my video, and as the counter gets to certain points, I could pause it, and you'll see as the video is playing, I have this add question right here at this time. So if I know I want to add a question at, let's say, 15 seconds, I can click add question, and then it will open up and pull up any of our 35 different question types. So you're not limited to just multiple choice or short answer response. You could do an audio recording question. You could do picture matching, multiple select. You could even put a crossword in there. You could do a photo, an annotate picture. You have so many different options with which you can add in different questions. So I'm going to just select do a text multiple choice, and I can type in have your paper copy out. I'm just going to type this one in real fast. No. Okay, I'm gonna uncheck the box. Oops, not gonna let me do that. Of course, the correct answer would be yes, and I want them to have this out. But I could choose on this particular widget to say this question does not require grading because it's more of a have them get ready for this lesson. I'm going to go back to my list of questions here, and then you can see that here we have at 16 seconds in the video, we have that particular question. But let's say I know I want it to be a little bit earlier. I could, let's say I want it at 12 seconds. I can just come right here, click on the time, and I can type in what time I want my questions to be at. Click out of it, and there you go. Now that question is at 12 seconds. Wait, there's an even easier way that you can add questions. So if I'm going to come up here to the cogwheel, and I'm going to do import from widget. So I have a whole bunch of widgets that I've made already about Shakespeare and sonnets. So I'm going to search for, let's see, hold on, there we go. I got my Shakespeare Life and Times. I can click on this particular widget, and I know I want this question, and I'm going to click import. Now we'll see as we're back to the video quiz. Here is that particular question, and it put it at 0, 0. Now again, I know I want to talk about sonnets, and I know from watching my video that at about the 42 mark, 44 mark is where I'm talking a lot about sonnets. So I can just type in right here what time I want. Okay. Let's say I want to add in multiple questions at one particular time. So I could, again, let me just go get some more. I'm going to grab this particular widget. And I know I want all of these questions, so I'm going to select them all, and I'm going to import them. Now I see them all listed there at 0, 0, 0. Okay. So I can change the time. I know that at the 58 mark, I want to do, let's see, sonnet characteristics is at 40. I'm going to put this at 42. Also with my poetic meter. I'm going to put this one at 42. Rhyme scheme, I'm going to put at 234. 234. You can see what I'm doing here. Okay. I'll put this one at 20. Okay. And then you can see I have all my questions are there. Okay. Let's go take a look at the student view. So I have my video. My students were in the student view, so the students can hit play. They can also fast forward, and they can watch it in full screen if they so choose. And then we have my question points are down here. So here is that first question. Continue to video. I continue watching. And then let's go to the next question. Okay, I've watched this section. I continue to video. And then on this one, now you're going to see I have a block of questions that are all together. So I have all 4 questions that are all together at the same time. So you can do one question at a time in your video quiz, or you could do multiple questions. And the way that you do multiple questions is that you make sure that they're all listed at the same time. Okay. Now let's take a look. This is all questions that we've had here, but let's come over here to the general tab because I want to show you some additional features to take a look at. So as with many of your widgets, you have the correction and scoring options. So you can customize this, whether you want students to see the correct or incorrect question, the correct or incorrect responses when they're done, and whether you want them to show the correct answers when it's done. That's up to you, but you can always, release it, the answers to them, and then come back and check the box later to not have them be seen. You can come down here to strict answer ordering. This is where students can only advance through the quiz in forward direction. So if you want them to watch and you don't want them to skip forward, you will disable, skip forward, and you can disable, skip backwards. That you want them to watch everything in sequence, and there's no ability to go back to other previous questions. I recommend, though, that is up to you and what you choose, but I like letting my students be able to go backwards, that they can rewatch anything or reuse any of the questions that they've viewed already and answered. But I do disable skip forward for my students, because the last thing I want them to do is what I was doing with you, was skipping through the video and just going to each of the questions. So by disabling skip forward, you will ensure that your students are watching the video and answering the questions at the appropriate time in the video. Okay. So that's just a few things. Oh, one other thing to point out to you too. Remember the feedback. So if you want to put a video, let's say at the very end of your widget, right here in feedback, this is where you can do that by embedding a video in your feedback message to students. So that's another great place where you can insert video. Okay, just wanted to show that to you real quick. Again, we have lots of tutorials and blog posts that are about the video quiz specifically, so that if there's anything in here that you missed, you can do some exploration. All right, let's go back to our slides and take a look at some additional things that we have for you. So when thinking about using video in your lessons, the videos, as I've shown you in our example widgets, there is a multitude of ways that you can use video, and at various points within your lesson. So we're going to take a look at that, videos in different sections and flipped learning resources inside of other widget activities. So videos in different phases of your lesson plan. You can use a video as an introduction to a new topic of study. So the students will watch the video. This can pique their curiosity for this new topic. It can also activate their prior knowledge. Maybe it's a review of information that they're going to need moving forward. But this is a great place where you can insert video to get them started. Of course, you can use videos for explanations. So this can be used to acquire new information and explore a new topic. So you're replacing your live lecture with a video. But I caution you on that one. We're not Hollywood cinematographers, try as we might. So make sure that your explanatory videos are kept short. And you can always chunk your material and turn it into a series. For practice, videos are great for reinforcing skills and knowledge that students have acquired during the lesson. So you can have them record themselves, even make their own videos, but also re-watch videos of how to do something so that they can practice doing it on their own sequentially. And then, of course, you can use videos at the end of a lesson to serve as a summary and a reinforcement of the content and skills learned in your lesson. So a video can be inserted at any point. And one of my favorite videos I like to create for my students for when we were doing a lot of paper-based learning is I would record an answer key video where I would talk them through their paper worksheet and what their answers were. And I would let them use that as a study tool prior to a summative assessment. And then whenever I needed to hide that information from that students, I just would turn that video back to private so that they wouldn't be able to find it on the day of the test. So again, there's a lot of places where you can use video in your lessons. Now, using videos inside of other widget activities. The easiest way to incorporate short videos in instructions and questions is with rich text formatting. So any of your question types or your text instructions have the ability with rich text formatting. You'll just click on that icon, the camera icon, and insert the video, and it'll be embedded just like all those examples I showed you. And then if you want to do a bigger lesson, a more extensive lesson with either the video quiz, you could also incorporate them into the hotspot, the planner, and the WebQuest widget. So you can have the video quiz as its standalone, but you could also embed that video quiz inside other widgets and have the hotspot, the planner, or the WebQuest be your big container to structure your unit of instruction. So I want to give you some extra tips and tricks so that it's easy to implement flipped learning with your students. First off, it is great to be able to go find lesson content, go find videos on YouTube or Vimeo, but it's really awesome for your students to get to know you and hear your voice if you record videos yourself. And this is also an opportunity for you to showcase your personality. You can ham it up, even put in some costumes if you so choose. But this is a great way that you can let students get to know you and your personality. So you can record your video with your chosen screencast tool. You can use a document camera. You can use your webcam. You can even use your cell phone to create it. But a good rule of thumb is that you want to aim for videos that are no more than 1 minute per grade level. So if you teach 5th graders, your maximum video you want to give them is 5 minutes. If you teach 12th graders, okay, yes, you could give them a 12-minute video. Now, if you have really big content, for longer content, what I recommend is this, is dividing it up into chunks and just record a series of short videos. Again, we're not Hollywood cinematographers. My name is not Spielberg, try as I might with creating my own videos. So I don't want to subject my students and my colleagues when I do professional development to be watching a long video. But doing a series, we can tap into their capacity for binge watching, because we know everyone loves to sit and watch Netflix series or any series ad nauseum, that by having your content into chunks, short pieces, next thing you know, they've watched, 10 different videos in 10 minutes without even realizing it. Now, an easy way also to keep your videos organized is that you want to first upload your recordings to YouTube, and you can keep them as unlisted so that it's only you that are able to see it. Because remember, with BookWidgets, we don't house your videos, the video file itself, but we do embed the video URL. So you want to house your videos, keep them up on YouTube or Vimeo, and then have them be as unlisted, and then use those links in the URLs in BookWidgets. And then I showed you before about rich text formatting. This is a great way to embed short videos in instructions and questions. No matter the grade level, the ones these types of videos that you're putting in instructions or questions, the video length should be kept under 5 minutes, no matter the grade level. We have a bonus video for you where you can see how to do that. I walk you through the steps. And then if you're doing a video quiz, yes, it can be a longer video. And you can insert any of the 35 question types at strategic moments to check their understanding. Also, some big time savers for you is that you want to save time grading and provide that timely feedback to students with auto-scored questions. Save yourself a lot of time, and then make sure you're utilizing that reporting dashboard so that you can track student progress and make some data-informed decisions for next steps in your flipped instruction. So you can, create videos on the fly when you realize you need your students need additional support, or you can create additional activities for them to demonstrate their understanding. Now, finally, taking a look at steps for creating a flipped lesson. The first thing you're going to want to do is determine your lesson content. What do you want to teach? And what do you want to make a video out of? And my thing for you to consider, if there is something that you find yourself constantly repeating to students, maybe it's instructions for a project, maybe it's a live lecture, any of those things you could turn into a video. And then what you'll want to do is identify how and where you want those videos to be used in the learning cycle. Will a video be an introduction? Will it be in the middle for practice? Will it be at the end of the learning cycle? So consider, again, where do you want to put these videos for your students? Then either record with your chosen tool or locate the video. Add that video and its questions to your chosen widget and deliver the widget to your students, and then monitor their progress. You can provide some additional feedback to them on their performance, and then design and implement those collaborative activities for students to apply what they have learned. Again, flipped learning is not about replacing the teachers with video. It is about freeing you from the front of the classroom. That rather than being anchored to be the sage on the stage, giving your lectures, as your students are watching videos, let's say in class, or doing the checks for understanding, you are now able to move about your classroom space, check in with individuals and groups of students, and be able to use the technology as a tool to guide your instruction and their performance. So we have plenty of links and resources for you all. Again, if you ever have any trouble, you can always reach out to support@bookwidgets.com. We're just an email away. We have lots of webinars for you to check out. Coming up, I think next week, we'll be taking a look at some math and science. And in the week after, we'll look at formative and summative assessments. But if you've missed any of our webinars in our Wednesday webinar series, you can go back, register for them, and be able to access the recording. We also have plenty of tutorials, both in digital and print, a knowledge base of frequently asked questions. And if you're on Facebook, connect with our Facebook community and join our Teaching with BookWidgets Facebook group. We're also on the other social channels of Twitter, LinkedIn, so make sure you connect with us there as well. And of course, check out that gold mine of resources. The BookWidgets blog is a great place where you can read articles and get some additional inspiration. And then the group inside of BookWidgets has all of the widgets activities that have been featured in blog posts and webinars. You'll be able to go find them all there, in addition to having them linked here in our slides. So I am so glad our roads crossed today and that you joined me today for Flipped Learning with BookWidgets.